I the asshole for asking my girlfriend to start making me breakfast every morning? Probably. Like, it sounds like it. Welcome back everyone to my low budget shit show. I'm wearing my brightest, happiest shirt today because we're gonna be looking at Am I the Asshole threads on Reddit, and I can tell already they're gonna frustrate me. So we're just maintaining some good vibes in here before that is ruined by someone's lack of self-awareness, no doubt. This is back by popular demand. I did one, I don't know, like a month or two ago, and a lot of you wanted me to do more, so here we are. I'm not in charge of this channel, you are. I'd also like to say a quick thank you to the sponsor of this video, Cash Rewards. I'll circle back to them in just a minute. I think we just gotta rip the band-aid off and we just gotta jump into these stories. Oh buddy. And you know what the first one is? I haven't even read it, but the title is "Come with me on the journey that is this sentence. Am I the asshole for telling my pregnant wife to stop acting like a child?" Your pregnant wife, who is being absolutely battered with every hormone under the sun, is acting like a child. What? I'm already inclined to side with the pregnant woman because I am familiar with basic biology, but we'll see. I, 35 male, and my wife, 33 female, are currently expecting our first child in December. I live in chronic pain due to a slew of health issues. I also work a job where I'm on my feet constantly. I can't get a new job right now due to personal reasons, but I plan to as soon as possible. My wife quit her job right after we found out we were expecting. We always plan this. The problem is she's gotten really lazy. I understand pregnancy is hard, but you don't though, because you've never been pregnant, nor have I. So all we can really understand is that you don't understand, and that's it. And just take the word of pregnant women everywhere that hard might be an understatement. I understand pregnancy is hard, but it's gotten to the point where she won't even make food or clean the house sometimes. She's been whining and complaining constantly since the moment she took the test. She sounds like a child. Again, body going through like the most drastic, traumatic, honestly, biological system humans can go through. I think pregnant women get a pass for pretty much everything. I'm hungry, I sore, my head hurts, I'm sick, I can't shit, etc. This guy's the asshole through and through. My mind is made up. This woman has what is effectively a parasite leeching all of her energy and nutrients out of her body. I'm not saying babies are parasites, I'm saying it's literally a parasitic relationship. Yeah, she's gonna be hungry and her head's gonna hurt along with everything else. The second I get home every night, she'd want me to do something for her. She expects me to cook and clean as soon as I get home every night. The straw that broke the camel's back happened a couple days ago. I had just gotten home from a 10-hour shift and was having a flare up. I just wanted to have a bath and relax because I was in so much pain. Fair enough. I told her I've had a terrible day and just to DoorDash something. I rarely let her do this because those fees are ridiculous, so I thought it'd be a treat. Also hate the phrase "let her do this," but that's the least of the red flags in this story. But she said that she can only eat home cooked meals and that everything else makes her sick. This is where I might be the asshole. I'd be inclined to agree. I yelled at her and I told her I've had the worst day and she needs to stop complaining and be an adult for once. She started crying. I immediately apologized over and over again, but she left anyway. A couple hours later, my mother-in-law called me and called me a misogynistic cunt and a slew of other names. This guy loves the word slew. I hung up because I don't need that. Now the beans are spilled and all the women in our family are mad at me and my wife still won't speak to me. Do you even need to ask who's the asshole here? Like, yeah, bro. So your wife is upset enough to leave. Your mother-in-law's dropped the C-bomb on you. All the women in your family are saying you're in the wrong. And you're still not listening. I think that might be the problem. The comments are basically filled with people saying I've had chronic illness and pregnancy is obviously worse. Not to diminish the fact that chronic illness is like an ongoing, never-ending thing and he's working on top of it and looking after a pregnant woman, but did they not think this might happen when they were trying to get pregnant? I don't understand. Pregnancy and chronic illness are both two very like draining, exhausting experiences. That they knew or should have known that the wife is gonna be stressed out and drained from the pregnancy and the husband gonna have to pick up the slack because the wife can't anymore. And if he's got chronic illness, is he gonna be able to do that? I just think that should have been thought through first. The consensus on Reddit is that everyone sucks. I would just say the husband's the asshole. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. And after that one, I think we're gonna have a little break and talk about the sponsor of this video, Cash Rewards. Cash Rewards has been like my little secret weapon when traveling. For example, you can book accommodation, flights, car hire, and activities with Expedia. And if you book through Cash Rewards, you get a percentage of that order back in your bank account. It's sent back to you in real money, no vouchers. Basically how it works is when you book or buy things from a ton of different retailers through Cash Rewards, Cash Rewards gets a commission on that and they share that commission with you. There's always a ton of different cashback deals going, but for example, if you booked through Cash Rewards and spent $300 on accommodation and there was a deal for 10% cash back, you would then get sent $30 back into your bank account. It's super easy to use. I have the Cash Rewards Chrome extension, so it just pops up whenever there's a deal available on something I was going to buy anyway. But there are always so many offers for travel and holidays from different retailers with Cash Rewards. So if you're smart about it and you book things through Cash Rewards, you end up getting some of your money back. And depending on how long you're traveling for, you save a lot of money doing this. And when you're traveling around with a budget and you get a bit of money back into your bank account, it's always a blessing. It's always a little treat. Even outside of travel, Cash Rewards is available on a lot of your favorite brands. So you can use my link below or the code Brianne to start saving a bit of money with Cash Rewards. Am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend to start making me breakfast every morning? Probably. Like, it sounds like it. I mean, if you're asking Reddit, it means she's probably said no and you've pushed and said, yes, make me breakfast. And I'm confident that that's exactly what's gonna happen, but let's see. I, 27 male, have been living with my girlfriend, 29 female, for several months now. For the most part, things are really good and I plan to propose soon and hopefully have at least a couple kids with her. However, we've run up against a conflict. Tell me the conflict's not breakfast when you were just talking about children. Yeah, you're gonna have kids if you can't have breakfast, but anyway. She's an absolute morning person. I hate mornings. Me too, buddy, honestly. No, you know what? I love everything about mornings, but I don't like waking up in the morning, since all of you asked. By the time I force myself out of bed in the morning and into the shower, she's already been up for at least 30 minutes, even though she has to be at work later than I do. She likes a huge breakfast in the morning. She usually has eggs, either French toast or pancakes, hash browns or breakfast potatoes, and sausage or bacon. Who? Props to this chick, because who has the kind of energy and time to be doing all that in the morning? Sometimes on the weekend it's ham or steak in the morning. How much is this costing to eat a buffet every single morning? She is saliving anyway. She eats almost nothing for lunch and usually has smallish dinner but loves a huge breakfast. Meanwhile, I only ever have cold cereal for breakfast, or maybe if I'm feeling really ambitious, some instant oatmeal and orange juice. Me too, man. I'll have a banana and that's too much effort. I only even start to come alive halfway through my second cup of coffee and definitely don't feel like cooking in the morning. However, my girlfriend obviously does, so I recently asked her if she'd start making breakfast for me too. She asked if we were going to trade off and if I'd sometimes make breakfast for her too. I told her no, but reminded her that I do often make dinner for her. She said that since we trade off making dinner, we should trade off making breakfast. That immediately seems reasonable, but let's continue. I told her that there's no way I'll ever be able to muster that kind of energy first thing in the morning, but that since she obviously can, that she should just make breakfast for me too. This exactly what I said was gonna happen. He's come at her with a request that only benefits him. She's come back with a compromise. He's come back and said, no, I won't compromise, but you will just do it for me anyway. I said that it would take next to no extra effort on her part to throw in a couple more eggs, strips of bacon, an extra portion of hash browns. There are 3 commas already, so like you're asking for quite a lot, since she's already doing it for herself anyway. But it started a fight with her saying it wasn't fair for me to expect her to think of me in the morning since I don't do the same for her. She seems to think that her making breakfast for me should figure into our division of labor and that I should do something extra in return. Yes. Like, this is so obvious that it's stupid. And he can't understand why that's caused a fight. There's absolutely no attempt at compromise on his behalf. I think that since she makes a huge breakfast for herself every morning anyway, that throwing in an extra portion of whatever she's making on for me would take next to no effort on her part. So why should I have to do more for her in return than I already do? Because she would be doing more for you than she already does. You've just said it. Like, surely people don't have this little self-awareness, and yet they do. Everyone, the general consensus is that yes, this guy is the asshole, which seems obvious. Am I the asshole for eating my husband's entire birthday cake by myself? Like, maybe? Sometimes the titles of these, I'm like, is this not an open and shut case? But not always, so let's have a read. I'll preface this by saying that my husband's family and I don't get along at all. What's new? I feel like 99% of these submissions are just in-law problems. We're rarely ever on good terms, and for my mental health I decided to put distance between us, especially after I was blamed for my most recent miscarriage. Oh, okay, that's a bit far. That happened 3 months ago, so not long ago at all. My husband can still see and visit them whenever he wants, but for me, I don't attend any of their events, not even Thanksgiving or Christmas. That's fair enough. That's a boundary you need, then that's a boundary you need. My husband's 30th birthday was 2 days ago. I plan to celebrate it with him. I bought a cake and a gift, but he said that his family invited him to celebrate his birthday and he really wanted to go, because the birthday parties his family throw are like no others. We had an argument over this, but he told me to wait for him until he finished celebrating there with his family, and then we could celebrate together at home and eat cake. After he left, I felt so terrible. I called him, but he turned his phone off. I was so mad, I took the cake and brought it to the living room and started eating from it. I ate the whole thing, not saving him a single piece. I guess I was so angry that it made me hungry. Like, honestly, gotta respect that half. He did eat his birthday cake, so I don't... He came home and saw what I did and blew up, saying I did this to be spiteful and to punish him for not ditching his family on his birthday. Like I wanted him to, the air quotes are in the text. I reminded him I paid for the cake, but he called me petty and nuts. He ranted and then said that he didn't get to eat cake at his parents' house because lots of kids were there and he didn't get enough cake. What? This is so stupid. Like, this is 2 grown children. He didn't get enough cake and what I did was 10 times worse. He's been upset with me ever since. Oh my god, both of you grow up. Okay, so for a second I was gonna be like, okay, the wife is at fault here because just eating your husband's entire birthday cake after he agreed to come home and, you know, try and compromise, that's a dick move. Completely forgot that his family blamed her for the miscarriage though, and one that happened 3 months ago. Yeah, the fact that the husband's choosing the family over her at all, especially just after something that monumental happens. No, honestly, I think eating the cake wasn't enough. I think the husband doesn't care that the wife is ostracized by his family and blamed for a miscarriage. What? And he also gets the benefit of still having a good relationship with them and going to these amazing parties that they apparently throw, while his wife, who his family has blamed for a miscarriage that happened 3 months ago, is at home by herself. That is really horrible. Poor lady. The battery died, so should I charge my battery before I start filming? Yes. Yes. How many years have I been doing this? Still have never learned. Oh, this might be controversial. Am I the asshole for losing my patience with my toddler parent friends? Is it controversial? Because I'm not even sure what it means. I'm assuming it means friends who are parents of toddlers. Let's find out together. There are 4 of us in our group of friends from high school days. We've been in the same group for 17 years. I'm the only one without kids, so catch-ups are now few and far between. They all get together regularly because of their small people. Cute way of saying it. Anyway, I'm going overseas for 5 weeks soon and I organized for a catch-up before I go away. Even plan to borrow my niece so I have some small people too. This is very cute. This is all very cute. This morning I sent a message to the group chat to make sure we're still on. It's in 2 weeks time. And the first reply is, in theory, haha. I pretty much just had enough of responses like this and said don't even worry about it then, which seems like an overreaction, but it's so hard to get them to do things anymore because of their kids. And I try to be understanding and flexible, but we haven't hung out for a couple months now as a group and I'll be away until the end of January and it's always the same. Cancelling at the last minute or changing plans to something more budget and kid friendly, which I go along with, but this time I'm just over it. I really wanted to hang out as a group before I head off and it just feels like it's too much effort for others, which I so far can completely see where this person's coming from. That would be frustrating. I have also never had a child, so I don't know how impossible it is to commit to a plan, although if they're all committing to plans to hanging out with each other, then surely they can do the same for a one-off with this friend who's also going to bring their niece so that they have a kid there as well, which I think is really cute and thoughtful. So this kind of just makes me sad. Edit, it was a pretty simple plan. I'll buy lunch for everyone and bring it and meet it at a park near their houses. I like to have them around mine, but 2 of them don't drive, so it's easier for me to go to them. Also, I'm a pretty giving person. I call in sick if they need extra support during the week so I can go over and help, give them money when they're short, or get things the kids need like clothes. This is making me sad. I just feel pretty rubbish when I would like to just catch up as a group once in a while and it's in the too hard basket. That would be hurtful. Like, you can understand as parents their priorities have changed, but that would still regardless be hurtful. I don't even know what to say about this one. I don't think anyone is being an asshole per se. I think the parent friends have different priorities and maybe don't know that this means a lot to this person. This person's definitely not the asshole. She's actually putting in a lot of effort and like catering to the limitations that the parents have. I think the parent friends are being kind of shitty friends here, but again, I don't know what goes into raising a human being. But I don't think anyone is like an asshole in this situation. Am I the asshole for banning alcohol from Christmas? Depends. I don't know. Weird one. My husband's family likes to drink. That's gonna be a problem if you're trying to ban alcohol. Every holiday includes multiple bottles of wine/cocktails. I hate drinking and I've never drank as my father was an alcoholic. I think it's childish if you can't have fun without drinking. Without passing too much judgment, this sounds like the exact type of person that will not get along with a family who loves to drink. I do understand that if you don't drink, then hanging around with people who do drink, and especially people who drink to be social. I've seen this a lot where people will, instead of just being like, I don't do that and some other people do. They take this like made up moral high ground of being like, you're childish if you want to drink socially, which already kind of just makes you seem like an asshole. Seems to be coming from this like really judgy perspective. This year I'm hosting Christmas for a change, and I decided since it's at my house, no alcohol allowed. We're all getting older and it's time to grow up. Okay. This person seems like an asshole. Like, this seems like they've got a stick up their ass. And I understand if they've got a chip on their shoulder about their dad being an alcoholic, and if that's like, I guess, triggering for them, but they're not approaching it like this is a trigger for me. They're approaching it like, everyone else grow up. I'm more mature and you're all childish because you can drink and not have hiccups about it. You know what I mean? My husband's sister called to ask what she could bring. She saw a recipe for a Christmas martini that she wanted to bring. I told her about my no alcohol rule. She didn't say much, but must have told the rest of the family. Some of them started texting me asking if I was serious and saying that it's lame. Now it turns out my husband's sister is hosting an alternative gathering. Hosting an alternative gathering that almost everyone is choosing to go to instead. Oh, this is hard because that's hurtful and not the best way to go about it. But this girl seems like a bit of a cow. It's so disrespectful, all because they would have to spend one day sober. I don't think that's it. Like, I do think it's disrespectful. I don't think it's because they have to spend a day sober. I think it's because you're talking down to them. If this person's talking to them the way she is talking in this post, you can't talk down to people and also try and control their behavior because of your own personal opinions and still expect people to want to hang out with you. Like, especially when Christmas is like notoriously associated with alcohol. It's kind of a big ask. Whether that's a good thing that we have that kind of inbuilt cultural association between Christmas and alcohol, whether that's a good thing or not is entirely up for debate. But you're not going to make any friends talking down to people and trying to change the way they celebrate Christmas in such a forceful way. My husband told me he talked to his sister and we're invited to her gathering, and he said we should just go and stop causing issues, but I won't. It's so rude. Now husband is mad because I'm making him stay at home and spend Christmas with me, but it was my turn to host and I chose to have no alcohol. They could have dealt with it for 1 year. I think this chick's the asshole. And if not asshole, then just pain in the ass. Like, saying things like, oh, you have to grow up, we're getting old, it's time to grow up, it's childish. It really feels like an emotional outburst disguised as maturity. I don't even, like, yes, she's decided that we're all getting older so we need to stop drinking, but you can't decide that for everyone else. I'm not a psychologist, I also don't know the ins and outs of everything, but it does seem like she's getting triggered, obviously by alcohol due to her history, and is trying to control other people as a means to control that trigger, and then taking this smug moral high ground when that doesn't work. But that doesn't really deal with the problem, does it? Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I have a Patreon now, which is another way you can support the channel if you'd like. And for one of the tiers, you get your name put at the end of the video. So these are my first patrons ever that are in like the upper tiers. And a huge thank you to everyone else that's joined any of the other tiers. Love all of you to bits. I really, really appreciate your support. And thanks to everyone else who just watches regularly or comments or supports in any way. I appreciate it more than you guys will ever know. But that's all for today. Don't be an asshole, and I will see you in a few days with a new video.